'77, the summer of the Jubilee, a time when the nation united in spontaneous gestures of patriotism. A time when the then top 20 record charts were dominated by this original version of the national anthem by the Sex Pistols.
God save the Queen! She ain't no human being! There is no future in England's dreaming! Tell me so, I know what you want, and tell me so, I know what you need. There's no future, no future, no future for you!
The summer of '77 was also the summer of punk. Despite a ban by the BBC pop network Radio 1, the Sex Pistols' loyal tribute topped the charts in Jubilee week. And in the King's Road, Chelsea, the exotic punk fans mystified the tourists with clothes and makeup even more bizarre than their music. But to the music business itself, they represented something far more significant. Nothing less than the first twitch of life in 10 years. Offensive, outrageous, but potentially profitable. As far as the general public was concerned, punk first surfaced in the autumn of 1976, when the Sex Pistols with lead singer Johnny Rotten suddenly made punk music front-page news. They outraged pretty well everyone by what seemed a string of gratuitous and mindless obscenities. But what the headline writers didn't realise was that punk wasn't just a publicity gimmick. It already had a steadily building audience amongst young people, and they felt that punk was radically different from the existing rock music establishment. What musicians do you write? I mean, who do you think is a good singer?
I don't. I don't have any heroes. They're all useless. Well, there's no bands around, is there? None. None that are accessible.
Well, before you...
Unless you pay a £5 to see them, and then you can't see them.
And what sort of people came to see you in the beginning?
I don't know, just bored people. Bored out their brains with hippies.
What's this thing you got against hippies?
They're complacent.
You were just attacking Top of the Pops and the sort of bands that are on there. What, do you think they're relevant to the kids 16, 17?
Of course they're not. Relevant to their mums and dads, but that's about all.
What about bands like Rod Stewart?
What about him?
Mums and dads, yeah.
He's all round, isn't he? All round entertainment.
He's an old
Do you wanna make tea at the BBC? Do you wanna be? Do you really wanna be a top? Career opportunity, the one that never knocked. Every job they offer used to keep you up the dock.
Rejecting established music heroes was crucial to punk. Another successful London group, The Clash, put the boot into ageing rock millionaires whose music and lifestyle had been dominant for so long.
It's got nothing to do with them anymore when, like, Rod Stewart gets up there and starts, like, going on with his string orchestra, you know what I mean? It's not what you feel like. So you've got to have some music what you feel like. Otherwise you go balmy, don't you?
I think their attitudes really stink. Now, anyway, they're just like... There just has to be new groups, and then that's what you got.
The Sex Pistols say they hate hippies, everything they stand for, and the hippies are what went wrong with music. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's right. I think that's where the complexities came in, you know? When people thought, oh, we better buy a Moog synthesizer, or we'll get caught out, you know? Like, maybe...
If there's any around, they should, like, you know, jump into action immediately. Because, you know, I suppose it ain't their fault. They've had too much dope.
Yeah, lying on the floor and looking at the ceiling.
But it's another generation to yours.
Yeah, one that went wrong.
Unlike Unlike the dope generation, the new wave bands seemed to speak directly to their audience about things they felt mattered to them, living in tower blocks and surviving on the dole.
If they wanna get me making noise, if they wanna get me, well, I got no choice. Career opportunity, they wanna
The school I went to, right? I mean, there's sort of like, all the kids are supposed to sort of like be factory project, you know, that sort of stuff. And like, the school's sort of built, it's a real sort of depressing school and that. And you go there, you don't learn nothing. All you're sort of like working for is just to go into the factory which is around the corner, or something like that. And, well, most of the mates I know are all working in the factory.
Are there a lot of your fans on the dole? I mean, do they feel the same way?
Yeah, else they wouldn't come to our gigs, would they?
If they weren't on the dole, would they be your fans?
Well, I mean, if there was jobs, then they wouldn't be on the dole. And maybe we'd be singing about love and kissing or something.
It's because it's music made by people that feel an oppression and a depression. And it's exactly the same reason they're singing, because they can't get no work, they can't get this. And the only way they can get it across to like the media is to sing about it and cause havoc the way they do.
Another fundamental part of punk's attraction was the belief that anyone could be a musician. This was exciting for the punk fan, but it naturally led to some rather basic performances.
Because you don't have to be a fantastic musician, you don't have to be old, you don't have to be in the music business years, you can just get a guitar, play for a few weeks and go on stage and do it.
And the punk magazines like Sideburns gave advice like this. And fans like Susie took them up on it. Have you tried to get a band together?
Yeah, I did the 100 Club, the punk festival. Susie and the Banshees.
What did you sing?
The Lord's Prayer via Twist and Shout, Knocking on Heaven's Door, and a bit of Deutschland, Deutschland, über alle.
And what went down the best?
All of it. It got boring in some parts, but it picked up.
Are you singing?
Yeah.
Had you sung before?
Not on stage, no.
Did you think that was important?
No.
And who was backing you up?
Sid Vicious on drums, Steve Spunker on bass, Marco on guitar, and me just doing the vocals.
The kids kind of got fed up with copying, you know, everything was like rejuvenated old stuff. And they went for a lapse where they didn't know what they were doing. And well, punk broke loose and gave them a direction, which is what they really wanted, something of their own, something that they could personally identify with and call their own.
Though punk was indeed the kids' own music, it couldn't have happened without some imaginative entrepreneur providing the opportunity for it to emerge. Malcolm McLaren is the manager of the Sex Pistols and the owner of the now famous punk clothes shop in London's King's Road, Seditionaries. When he set up the Sex Pistols in 1975, McLaren borrowed the label punk from New York, where it described a very particular trend in outrageous clothes. But London punk was very different. Raw, working class and deliberately anti-establishment.